Kitten's first day at school. What happened will melt your heart. The first day of school is always an emotional roller coaster for both students and parents. Some people are nervous because they're going to start classes after the long summer holiday, while others are excited because they'll get to see their friends again. But no matter what your feelings may be about returning to school, one thing is for sure: the first day of school is always a memorable one. Today we will show you a story about some kittens who experienced the same thing. So, if you're ready, let's begin. Once upon a time in a small village, there was a lovely family with 5 beautiful kittens. The kittens were so adorable that anyone who saw them couldn't help but smile. The mother cat was very proud of her children. They were all grown up, and it was finally time for them to start school. As you can imagine, the first day of school was both exciting and nerve-wracking for the little cats. Before leaving the house, the mother cat gave them a big lecture about what they should and shouldn't do at school. "Don't fight with your classmates, don't run in the corridors, and don't be late for class," she said. The kittens promised they would listen to everything she had told them. When they arrived at school, they saw many other students playing in the playground. There were dogs, rabbits, turtles, birds, and even a little hedgehog. All of them were very happy to see the new students. One of the kittens, named Ginger, immediately started chasing his own tail. He was so into it that he didn't notice how the other animals were looking at him. Suddenly, one of the rabbits walked up to him and said, "Why don't you come play with us?" "Sorry, I don't know you," Ginger replied, looking away. The rabbit felt hurt by his response and ran back to his friends. Ginger didn't care, though. He continued chasing his tail until the school bell rang. The moment the bell rang, all the students got scared and ran to their classrooms. Ginger was so frightened that he hid under a desk. The other 4 kittens were much calmer than Ginger. After greeting their new teacher, they went to sit down at their desks. Meanwhile, Ginger was still hiding under the table when the teacher noticed him. "Are you enjoying the view from under there?" she asked with a smile. Ginger blushed and replied, "I'm just scared. I don't want to be here." "Well, I understand, but you don't have to be afraid of me. I promise you'll be safe here, and besides, you can't stay under this table all day. At some point, you'll have to socialize with your classmates, right?" After saying this, the teacher went to the board and started the lesson. At first, the students were quiet, but then the teacher asked them to introduce themselves. One by one, each student stood up and said a few words about themselves. When it was Ginger's turn, he was still hiding under the table. "Come on, Ginger, it's your turn," said the teacher. Ginger took a deep breath and said in a very quiet voice, "Hi, my name is Ginger." All the students applauded. Then he went back to hide under the table. The teacher understood that Ginger needed some time to get used to the classroom atmosphere, so she let him stay there for the rest of the lesson. However, during recess, she went up to him and said, "Ginger, I know you're scared, but I want you to go out and play with the other kids." Ginger looked at her and asked, "How am I supposed to do that? They don't like me." "Nonsense. I'm sure they will if you just give them a chance. Look, why don't you go say hello to them?" Ginger thought for a moment. He wanted to make friends, but he was still very nervous. Suddenly, the bird from the class approached him and said, "Hey, Ginger, do you want to play with us?" "Oh, I don't know you," Ginger replied. "Well, my name is Tweety, and these are my best friends, Lucky, Coco, and Tommy. Do you want to play tag with us?" "Tag? What's that?" Ginger asked. "It's very simple. You have to catch us, but we also need to try to avoid being caught. Whoever is caught becomes the new chaser," explained Tweety. "That sounds fun. Okay, let's play." And so Ginger made new friends and spent the whole recess laughing and playing with them. Even the rabbit that Ginger had offended in the morning joined the game. After recess, the kittens went back to class together. For the rest of the day, Ginger couldn't stop smiling. He told his classmates all about how he spent his summer holidays and what games he liked the most. In turn, his new friends told him many interesting stories. Time passed quickly, and before they knew it, the school bell rang. When the kittens hugged goodbye, Ginger told his friends he couldn't wait to see them again tomorrow. As they walked home together, they thought about all the fun they'd have at school. When they arrived home, the mother cat was waiting for them at the door. She was very happy to see her babies again, but at the same time, she was curious to hear about their first day at school. "How did it go?" she asked. The kittens told her everything, including the fact that they now had new friends. "That's great news, my loves. I knew you'd do well on your first day of school. Now go clean yourselves up. You're filthy." The kittens went to the bathroom to wash themselves. A few hours later, the mother cat woke them up. "It's time for bed, my little ones. Tomorrow will be another exciting day at school, so you better get some rest now." The kittens snuggled with their mom until they fell asleep. In their dreams, they were still at school, playing and having fun with their new friends. The next morning, the kittens woke up bright and early. They couldn't wait to go to school again and see their friends. After eating breakfast, they put on their backpacks and headed out the door. As soon as they entered the classroom, they heard the other students laughing and playing. Their teacher was sitting at her desk, reading a book. "Good morning, class," she said with a smile. "Good morning," the students replied. "Where's Ginger?" the teacher asked. A few moments later, Ginger entered the classroom. He had overslept and almost missed school. "Sorry I'm late," he said. The teacher nodded and asked him to sit down. During the lesson, Ginger couldn't concentrate. He kept thinking about what it would be like to have wings and fly. Suddenly, he raised his paw. "Yes, Ginger," said the teacher. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course, what is it?" "Do you think birds enjoy flying more than any other activity?" "Well, I think so. Flying must be so much fun," Ginger replied. The teacher smiled and said, "You know, sometimes our imagination can take us anywhere we want. Why don't you write a story about a cat who could fly?" "Okay," said Ginger. After the lesson, Ginger went to the playground to meet his friends. When they saw him, they immediately surrounded him and asked him how he liked school so far. "It's great, but I wish I could fly like a bird," Ginger replied. "What?" said the turtle. "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Why would you want to be a bird? Cats are much better." "But birds can fly," said Ginger. "They can fly because they have wings, silly," replied the turtle. "So what if I had wings? I bet I could fly higher than any bird." "We'll see about that," said the rabbit, smiling. And so the kittens continued playing until it was time to go home. Every day they spent at school was full of new discoveries and adventures. They learned about friendship, kindness, and most importantly, they learned how to fly. Now, whenever Ginger looks at the birds soaring through the sky, he doesn't feel sad or envious. Instead, he smiles and thinks about how lucky he is to have such wonderful friends. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and share it with your loved ones. Until next time.